What about my love? Wasn't it enough? Just let me know.
Right, me. I forgot that we were doing it this way. So,
Dora, come on.
look, man, I'm used to Vic doing it. Hold up.
Nah.
All right, so first question that we got here is on Sunday Night Football. It's looking like the refs are showing a bit of favoritism in there. We even saw on the sideline Robert Saleh kind of lit into one of the refs. We also saw a what some might say a BS holding call. So, gentlemen, I want to ask you, was Robert Saleh justified in his reactions of Ahmed Gardner's holding call?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Sith Lord Jeff, I'll start off with you.
Okay, let's just get this out the way. There's going to be favoritism in the National Football League. Let's just get this out of the way. Of course, Robert Saleh is justified in that holding call. Right before, I had to watch that highlight of that phantom holding defense on Sauce Gardner. There was barely anything there. Of course, Robert Saleh is very upset about that. But here's the thing. Elite superstar quarterbacks will always get the call. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he will get the call 9 times out of 10. Look at Brady during the Brady dynasty. He got calls that favored him. There are certain teams and that will not get the calls. Look at Cam Newton. He didn't get a lot of unnecessary roughness calls back in his day. And then look at the Saints. Can't get a PI. Look at Sean Payton. Can't get a PI call to save his life. I'm just saying. There's going to be favoritism, as much as we hate to admit it, in the National Football League. Yes, look at this play right here. You see this play. Sauce Gardner, like literally not even holding him for like 5 seconds. That's not enough contact for me to justify a holding call. And then if they did not call that play, Patrick Mahomes would have had his 3rd interception. He did not play Patrick Mahomes like in that game. The Jets defense showed up, and also shout out to Zach Wilson. He played a pretty decent football game that game. I was like, oh, okay, Zach Wilson, there's room for improvement. But literally, had they made that call, the Jets had a chance to win that game. That was a game-changing call. And like, this is Mahomes will get the call. You mentioned you hate to admit it. You don't want favoritism in the National Football League, but recency bias, superstar bias, quarterback bias, whatever you want to call it, it will happen. Whether it's wrong, of course it is. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to wins and losses. And at the end of the day, Robert Saleh is very justified with that because that's a game-changing call. You hate to do it, but it's done now. Move on.
Yeah, I agree with you somewhat, Jeff. I agree with you mostly, but I just want to look at this one more time.
Yes.
So Marquez Valdes-Scantling trying to get an outside release here and then cuts inside. I mean, I'm not sure what Sauce was supposed to do here to slow him down other than stay stride for stride with him. But
like,
I don't think that's holding. I just think that's just his arms getting in the way of an inside release from MVD. So, or MVS. I said MVD.
And then another wasn't one of the Kansas City offensive line in another play where Patrick Mahomes scrambled for like 3rd and 22. He got away with a little bit of holding. I'm like, whoa, Patrick Mahomes converting a 3rd and 22. And then I saw the play. Wait, where's the hold? Where is the hold, bro? Come on.
I'm all about consistency with calls. So if I'd have to go watch the all 22 and see if there's anybody else doing the same thing. And if MVS was doing the same thing to Sauce Gardner over and over and over, where it was getting a little chippy. But my thing is, why didn't you call it in the first place? If he did the same thing, getting an inside release, going outside and then coming back inside, and he didn't get flagged for it before, then I don't appreciate the flag coming after the fact either. So that's just me. I think Sauce Gardner made a really good football play. It was within 10 yards. I don't think it was anything predatory that was going on. Here's the biggest difference here and how I feel as a football fan. Just look at this frame. Even if we back it up just a little bit, who was over the top? Number 30 was
30
in the
right
place of
there.
that. So at the end of the day, if you're seeing this and number 30 was going to be there in double coverage anyways, how much does the holding really matter? Even if it was, somebody would have caught up to him in the first place. I don't know. I just want consistency. There's no consistency. It seems like we get more consistency out of college football calls than we do in the NFL. It's like they're still trying to figure it out. The catching is a problem still.
What is a catch? Like I don't even know what a catch is in the NFL from time to time.
What is a pass interference? What is a hold? And holding is fairly new on defense. Like, to be completely honest with you, it's being called more and more as the years go on.
I don't even like what's a false start. Like, I've seen more offensive linemen this year.
It's a problem this year.
Prematurely jumping and not getting called for it. I'm like, bro, ref, call the flag. Are you kidding me?
And then what a lot of people don't understand too is Robert Saleh is going to have to coach to this different. Because now he's going to be scared that if he goes into every single game and Sauce does the same thing on the inside release while he's trying to adjust his arms, that's going to be a coaching thing for them. And especially what's going to drive him crazy is if he's going against or watching another team the following week do the same thing, one of their corners, he's going to explode. Like, pause, but he's going to explode from looking at that situation. Why do my guys get called for, but not everybody else? So
keep that consistency.
I would keep, if I was Robert Saleh, I'd be keeping some receipts. I'd be pickpocketing every single time that somebody does this and they don't get called for holding, because at the end of the day, the NFL's got to know that, like, you guys got to stay consistent all the way through every single time. That would just be me as a coach. I'd be so petty because you're holding my guy hostage. You're putting him in the phone booth by himself every single time now without him using this full extent of the skill set. But again, like I said, if you look at the play, number 30 was in play. So how much did this really matter in the first place? This is a bogus call.
You had a safety over the top coming down on him. Literally.
Well, he came from the nickel, or either if he was probably a safety playing in the box, but I had to go back and watch the full play again. But anyways, there was somebody there to be his help. I don't understand. That's just me.
I'm literally in full. I'm in full agreement. But literally, favoritism does happen in the NFL. Mahomes will get some phantom calls. It sucks. But it may be against your team, and you're gonna be like, "What the heck? What the f?" Like, or in Sora's case, "What the feuds?" That'll be a clip for "What the feuds." But Sora, you've yet to talk. What you got to say about this?
I mean, I can see it both ways. I can see, why it was called. I can see why it should not have been called. I can agree with saying, like, yes, obviously the safety's coming up in the middle. My biggest thing with holding is, and even with like PI, with just stuff like that, is if the ball is just out of reach of where the receiver even is, what's the point? I like that. Especially with like if it's overthrown like 5 feet in front of him, they're like, well, he slowed him down. He still wouldn't have made it. He still would have had to make like a diving catch. And again, I can see why they potentially called it, because he had both of his hands wrapped around like the back of his neck. That's where the careless whisper gets cued in. And then obviously he swung inside. It looked like the pass was more intended for him to be on the outside, so he would have also been in front of said safety. It is just a little bit of Gardner's hands were probably not in the right place, and then also MVS also went inside. The ball was not there, so they were like, all right, let's look at it, throw the flag.
Bang, bang, play.
I probably would not have called the flag, or at least, I don't know. I would, if I were a ref, I honestly don't know what I would call in that situation because again, I can see it via both sides. I would not say that's the penalty that law or the missed penalty. The missed penalty is where yes, the dude is absolutely being robbed. The Jets defender, I think it was actually Jeremiah Johnson, where he was being held and he was like, hello, ref. That's the penalty I'd be complaining more about and not this holding penalty because I don't think it's that much of a holding penalty. Again, I can see why it was called because he did have his hands, both of his hands, like on the back of the dude's neck wrapped around. And again, it's keep the same energy because really was, and this is not me bringing up Eagles, but was James Bradbury in the Super Bowl, was that really much of a holding as well with the Jersey Juck or
it was
Jersey Tuck?
It's just enough. It wasn't like you
so,
said.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying though. Is that enough? Or is this one enough? Is this one not enough? So it is exactly kind of what Dante said. It's a consistency thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a consistency thing. I mean, that's
and again, I feel like
make
the
it clear
penalty or the missed penalty that called them or that did not win them the game was that holding on. I believe it was Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't think any of us would have a problem if they called it consistently, but it was still bogus the way that it was. But for everybody in the comments, hit that like button for Don, man. Don needs the like buttons. Please. Hit the like button for Don.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, sure. We'll go with that. Sure.